very nice and very well detailed, and a great price too. Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and today I'm going to be looking at this kit. It's the 1:24 scale 1950s girls. So they're American style, and you can see on the box art there that they're very much like at the drive-in diner. And this is a great set. I mean, I've looked at some of their sets before, and this is from their new style of tooling. They use quite a lot of 3D scanning just to get the proportions really well done. The poses are very natural and the faces are quite immaculate, especially for injection molded plastic kits. Okay, and this particular set is really good, simply because there's a lot of 25th scale American cars that have been around for decades that these would perfectly put them into context and into dioramas, which will make it really interesting. Okay, let's open it up and we'll see what you get inside. Okay, got the bag there. It's got a couple of sprues, and I'll pull these out and we'll have a closer look at them and I'll show you why these are so good. All right, so let's pop that there. I've got this bag here with 2 sprues inside. All right, so you've got the larger sprue, which has got all the major components. You can see the 2 girls here. The faces are separate, and the faces you find on this section here. So this is quite different to how figures were done in the past. Usually this section here would be all molded in one. You have a big mold line across the top, which needs to be cleaned off. And the faces generally suffered from that because they weren't orientated on the mold to get all the fine detail. So here you've got them totally flat. You've got the join at the back, so you don't have to worry too much about any mold lines and limitations of having a 2-piece mold. So let's have a closer look with a bit of zoom action, and I'll show you the sort of detail you can get. All right, so let's look at this. Is the bigger one. Let's see if I can just get that focused in right there. So you can see the dresses. They're in halves, and when I flip it over, you see just how thin the material is. Okay, so this gives it a lot of body. And you see that too with how the figures are being designed so that the legs are actually fully sculpted as well. So even from any angles, because you've got these ballooning skirts, you'll be able to see their legs and get the full proportions. Okay, so let's have a closer look at sculpting there. So you've got the traditional, or I guess I say common design of the clothing. Got the big belt and such. Then you have the other leg here. This for the other figure with the flat shoes. Got another shoe there, so bottom of this leg. There's a bow for the hair. Then if I go back to this side, you'll see there's a ponytail and another shoe for the other girl. Okay, so as I spin this around, see how there's new technology of, well, I guess it's not really a new technology, it's techniques in how they've made the mold. You can see here, the side's got this really chunky part. This actually protects the model while it's in transit. Everything is just really clean, and you can see how the folds on the skirts are quite natural and crisp as well. Okay, so that's your main sheet. Now let's have a closer look at this smaller one here. And this is where all the benefits of this scanning technology and how they've decided to take apart the model and how it's assembled really benefits from this method. You can see how the faces are very, very natural. Even with just the shadows I'm creating just by moving around with the studio lights, you can see how natural they look. You have to run the profiles. Very nice indeed. Okay, so here we go. We've got one arm, the other arm for that one figure. And then with this head, you have, again, you've got the 2 different arms there. Okay, so we'll see from the back, see how they're totally flat at the back, so they match up completely with the body. You see there's a couple of injecting points here that just need to be trimmed off. And then There will be a line, there'll be always a mold line across here where the two parts of the mold join. But you can see here already just how clean it already is. So it probably only needs a very light sanding or a scrape with a very sharp blade. And that's one of the things about figures which can be tedious, cleaning up all the mold lines to make sure it doesn't look like just that, a molded piece of plastic. Okay, so let's zoom that out again. Okay, so there are all the plastic parts. Okay, so I had a look at those, quite nice. And now let's have a look at what else you get here. All right, you get a decal sheet. Bit hard to see, but it's actually got white polka dots, so you use that for the dress. This is a lot easier than trying to paint them all yourself. See if we can get that zoomed in. See how fine they are. So there's multiple pieces just to go around all the folds of the dress. And then down here too, the eyes are the hardest parts to paint. So they do offer you all these different eyes to use as decals. It's a very nice touch. Okay, and then we get into the manual. So if we go to the manual here, so it's a small sheet. As you can imagine, it wouldn't have very much to assemble. You do have the legend here with all the parts and the numbers, so you can find the parts easily. There's a color guide here for all the paint codes. So on this side, you've got the Mysticolor lacquer numbers, and then the H numbers are the acrylic paints. And then you also have a description. So if you don't use those particular brands of paint, it's easy enough to find alternatives in another brand. Okay, so let's open this up. Got some warnings here. And then there we go, that's pretty much it. So a very simple construction. You get your main body, the face goes here, and then you have your pigtail, arms, legs, and then the dress finishes it off. So as you can see, these are actually photos of the finished models, and just how good they look. This is the one with the polka dots. So of course the decal is going to be much easier to apply, but you can go and paint any kind of pattern you like. That's all open to you. It's got a few colors there too, give you an idea, just so you can paint it up exactly as it is on the box. Okay, so there's the options as the box art, but like I say, you can paint that any color you like. All right, and so that's pretty much it. So that is my open box review of the great figures from Hasegawa. These are the 24 scale, which also work for 25th scale, 1950s American girls. So you get 2 in the packet, and they're very nice and very well detailed, and a great price too. So thank you for watching.